everybody, I'm Jen Duggar. I'm the director of the Disability Resource Center here at Portland State University. Thanks so much for watching. There are 3 other videos that I'd love for you to watch when you have a second. Otherwise, you can always call our office if you have any questions. This video is for providing accommodations that are listed on the faculty letter. So note takers, you may be familiar. It's a very commonly provided accommodation. Our office generously provides this accommodation for faculty, so we connect with classmates who are already taking really good notes for themselves, and we ask them to upload those notes online to our database so the student with a disability can go in and pull those notes down confidentially. We sometimes do need help in finding note takers when no students reply to our email requests. So you may get an email from us asking you to make an in-class announcement. That's only because we've tried a couple of times already with no luck. When you get that, it would be great if you could urgently make that happen, make that announcement in class. Additionally, if you felt compelled to do that before we ask you, that would obviously be great. There's no obligation to do that, but we always really appreciate the additional support in that way. Ergonomic furniture is something that our office also handles for students who have disabilities, for students who may be larger or who may be pregnant. We make sure that there's seating that's accessible and comfortable in class on campus. And so you yourself may feel like maybe you need an ergonomic chair, and I want to make sure that you know, as faculty or as TAs, employees of the university, you would receive those accommodations through human resources. Otherwise, students are referred to our office so that we know where to place the furniture on campus. And we will make sure that the chairs are there, but as faculty, we also need your help in making sure that just the students who need access to the furniture are using it. Sometimes that shiny, comfortable chair is just calling out to students who don't actually have the accommodation. So we could really use your help in making sure that our students are actually getting access to their furniture. So in working with service providers on campus, this can be a challenge. It can also be really exciting. We currently have American Sign Language interpreters, real-time captioners, and classroom assistants who may be in your classrooms providing a service to a student who has a disability. It's really important that you work with this person in order to make sure that the student is receiving the service and the access that they need in order to be successful in your class. Working with them can look like making sure that they have the appropriate seating that they need or standing room that they need by the board or close to where it is that you're speaking without being in your space. It's also important that you speak clearly and at your normal rate, but sometimes it is important to slow down so that they can clearly and effectively interpret or translate what you're saying for the student. And then if you do need to speak directly with them, it's important to speak directly with them only about the service that they're providing or about those logistics. If you're speaking to, or about the student rather, you want to speak directly to the student. So make sure that you're not speaking to the interpreter instead of to the student about what the student needs. Testing accommodations. So almost every student who works with the DRC receives testing accommodations. And this can be rather challenging to provide as a professor, especially an adjunct or a TA who happens to be in charge of the testing. We understand, and also we are at a lack of space right now, and so we need your help in making this work for our students. We have 3 different ways this can work out. One is that you would arrange for a space and a proctor within the department. It might be you, and it might be the classroom that is typically used for your class, maybe on a different day or time, but you could do that yourself, or you could ask someone in the department to do that for you. Some departments have more resources than others, some have more staff than others, so we just ask that if that's a possibility, you go with that first. We do have so many students who are using DRC accommodations. And of course, midterms and finals all happen at the same time. So unfortunately, not all of our students can test at the SHAC testing center. But for those who need to, because you don't have a space or a proctor within the department, they can test there. So if that ends up being what you decide is the most appropriate solution, you can send the student to the SHAC testing center. They'll work to schedule an appointment on the right day and time, and then let you know what has been scheduled so that you can get the test to the center on time. If options number 1 and 2 do not work out, maybe because you can't find a test location or proctor and SHAC testing also is booked, you can contact the DRC, you can contact me, and we will work to find a solution for you. We have an obligation to make sure these students are taken care of and that they get the access they need for their test. So I might reach out and secure a conference room that is not within your department, and I might find someone who has time and the ability to work from a laptop, for example. So we will together find a solution that works, and the student will receive their accommodations. All right, so service animals in the classroom can be a bit tricky. Pets are not allowed in classes on campus, nor are emotional support animals or therapy animals or companion animals. Those are all three pretty much the same kind of animal. None of those are allowed on campus. Service animals are. And according to the Americans with Disabilities Act and our own assistance animal policy here at PSU, we have 2 questions that we can ask people in regards to their animals to find out if they are in fact service animals. So we can ask, is the dog required because of a disability? And you will notice that I didn't ask, what is your disability? The second question you can ask is, what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? So those are 2 questions we can ask. I am always very hesitant about asking the second question because I think that you will get maybe more information than you need with that question. A lot of students are using service animals because of invisible disabilities, anxiety disorders, PTSD, for example, and the information that they're going to give you when you ask what work or task has the dog been trained to perform may be very personal, and they may be answering that question all over campus and all around town. So I think that if you don't have to ask that question, you may not want to. Also be aware that service animals are not necessarily going to have documentation or certification with them that, that says that this is a service animal. That's not necessary anymore by the Americans with Disabilities Act or our policy. Service animals also may not be wearing any identifying vest, and they may not be on a leather harness like you may imagine. They might be just on a regular leash. And so if you can imagine the least service animal looking dog, maybe like a Chihuahua, that doesn't have any identifying information on a leash with a person who doesn't appear to have a disability, you just still want to pause and note that this may still be a service animal. So remember to at least ask the one question, is this dog required because of a disability? And if the person says yes, you may wish just to let the student and the animal stay in class. There are pieces of the assistance animal policy that talk about animal behavior and expectations as it relates to that. So if the dog is growling at a student or biting a student or chewing the carpet in a classroom or anything like that, that it would be in violation of the assistance animal policy. So if you have any other questions about that, do look up the policy or give our office a call. Okay, and then in terms of additional accommodations, please make sure to check your PDX email account. A lot of confidential information goes to that email account from our office as well as from others, and we in the DRC cannot send you information to your personal email. Also, please be aware that some of the accommodations do take us more time than others, so we may need more time from you in advance of the term beginning to ensure the student will have what they need. For example, students who are deaf or hard of hearing who need videos to be captioned, we need advance notice of what you'll be showing and when you'll be showing it so we can make sure to make that accessible. In addition to that, students who are blind or visually impaired also require that we put some additional time and energy into making documents accessible for them as well. So again, we may ask for your syllabus, maybe a course reading schedule for your textbook in advance of the term beginning so that we can make sure we're on the right track. And finally, if you ever feel like any accommodation fundamentally alters the learning outcomes of the course, we really want you to let us know. We, in the DRC, will be able to put together what we know of the student and what we know of your syllabus, of the learning outcomes of your course, to come up with a solution that is reasonable. And so that's what we're here for. We want you to reach out to us if you have any concerns in that way. All right, so thanks so much for joining me, and I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed the other videos as well.